Because ATC has limited functionalities in today's X-Plane, I have used the Pilot 2 ATC add-on for ATC instructions. I wanted to mention this plugin in at least one video as a recognition for its high quality. Because there are, of course, plenty of good tutorials in YouTube, see a few links in the description, I decided to talk about a very focused use of Pilot 2 ATC, namely emergency landing. Emergency landing is not explicitly dealt with in Pilot 2 ATC, so this is a way around. In preparation for this little exercise, I note possibly useful ATC instructions from the Speak Assistant. For instance, runway approach pattern instructions. As this is not a very frequent instruction, it is safe to teach Pilot 2 ATC to understand the Direct 2 instructions. Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee request direct to Lima Foxtrot Tango Hotel. To be able to see in the X-Plane main screen a box showing the latest ATC instructions, I use the file pilot2atc box.lua. This file can be easily found and downloaded. Pilot2atc box.lua is installed in the Fly with Lua folder. Our plane is now following a flight plan, the same in Pilot 2 ATC and in the X-Plane GPS system. Here it is a GNS 530. We have arbitrarily decided to simulate an engine fire in X-Plane. We go to the failures page of the plane. We will only have later on to press Ctrl F to start an engine fire. This is where I should normally say to ATC something like Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee, Mayday, Mayday, right engine on fire. I would have added the amount of fuel left, the number of passengers, etc. But this word Mayday is not dealt with in Pilot 2 ATC. We immediately go to the GNS list of nearest airports and we select LFTH, which is the Toulon airport. We then request direct to LFTH to ATC. Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee request direct to Lima Foxtrot Tango Hotel.
Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee, this is Provence approach on 120.2. Please repeat your request.
Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee request direct to Lima Foxtrot Tango Hotel.
Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee cleared direct to Lima Foxtrot Tango Hotel.
Cleared direct to Lima Foxtrot Tango Hotel. Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee.
As this is approved, we enter direct to the airport in Pilot 2 ATC. and we enter direct to the airport in the GNS. At this stage, I need to disconnect and reconnect Pilot 2 ATC. This sounds not logical, but I found that in my case, the procedure works much more smoothly by doing so. As we had not prepared a landing on this airport, if we pretend that we are going for an emergency landing, we need to quickly gather some basic information. We check the airport elevation to know how much we must lose altitude. We switch to LFTH frequency and we check destination runways. As this is an emergency, I descend as quick as possible, say minus 4,500 feet per minute, instead of the usual 1,500 feet per minute. The airport is nearly at sea level, but there are big hills around. Therefore, I will descend down to 4,000 feet and watch carefully outside to be able to climb a bit to fly above a hill if necessary. I contact the airport and request visual approach. Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee at 4,000 feet. Request straight-in approach, runway 3.
Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee, good afternoon. Squawk 1200 QNH is 1018 visual straight in approved. Call 5 mile final for runway 23.
Cleared for visual straight in runway 23 Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee.
After the answer, I can tune the squawk code and the altimeter. In the GNS, I select the navigation group, page 2, to see the runway on the GNS. In Ops mode, I adjust the leg in magenta color to have the same direction as the airport runway. Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee has field in sight.
Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee, this is Higheries Tower on 121.0. Please repeat your request.
Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee has field in sight.
Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee, continue approach, winds are light and variable, cleared to land runway 23.
Cleared to land runway 23 Beach Kilo X-ray Yankee.
We finally land as we can. At this stage, it could be probably possible to call a ground fire truck and explain. But I simply suppose here that somebody will be there to extinguish the fire. I simulate this by changing the engine failure from fire to failed. Thereafter, the engine will not show flames, but will stay out of order. As I am not familiar with the airport, I will request through ATC the General Aviation Ramp. In Pilot 2 ATC, there is the Taxi Maintenance tool for editing the runways, taxi routes, and gates. Here, we decide to edit the A3 gate to make it a General Aviation Ramp. We request taxi to General Aviation Ramp. Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee request taxi to General Aviation Ramp.
Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee taxi to General Aviation Parking via taxiways Charlie, 3, 2, 6, 5, 8. Hold short runway 05 and runway 31.
Taxi to General Aviation Parking via taxiways Charlie, 3, 2, 6, 5, 8. Hold short runway 05 and runway 31 Beach Kilo X-Ray Yankee.
I display the taxi pass to gate A3 in Pilot ATC by pushing the taxi button. This makes it easy to find the parking place. And finally, we are arrived at the gate.